Hello everyone, and this is episode 6 of What If Civilization Started Over Again. In the last episode we saw this civilization connecting to the major larger ones, and well, Britain did a thing. We also saw Cuba, the Cuban Republic go boom. Yeah. And probably just gonna leave the Mexican area, Central American, for this episode because we're just gonna focus down here. Well, not specifically over here, but around Europe and Eurasia, sort of thing. Of which the first thing we will see is the second British War will break out, in which what we'll see is we'll see Scottish troops crossing the border into Welsh areas. They move down and take over roughly all of Wales before, well, they'll make a pushback, pushing to that river, and that's where the front line will hold for this part. But they will also, but the English will also push along the coast, reaching to the northern English parts of Britain. And here we'll see the front line sort of stall until we get a new competitor into the game of Ireland, and they will make a landing in this part of Scotland, pushing up and sieging the capital. And then promptly, what we'll see happening, the northern part of Ireland will declare independence. Scotland, declare independence, leaving this part to fight on its own. From there, well, we will find a peace deal being drawn up and put into play. We'll sort of see a peace deal looking like this, in which we do need to add a new capital, which the new capital of well, Middle English will be on the coast right about there. We go over to the Dutch team. What we see is them exploring along a little bit further inwards, but mainly up the coast, into German areas and reaching to the Danish parts, where what we'll see is sort of everyone in the purple team will pack up, sort of migrate over to they abandon all of this, continue exploring up here to the very tip of the Danish land. And just setting up shop at the very tip. What they'll do, move the capital up to here as they get the they remove that capital from there, and we've gone back to here. But on a non-expansionist sort of thingy, is we will see almost like trade route being established. It will start in this capital as it goes up the coast along here down to this capital, from which it comes from here comes from this one down to the boot part of it, crosses over the gap, goes down to here, to this capital. It also goes straight along through Constantinople into this capital. Here to here. So along the very edge of this, the Arabian Peninsula, comes down, comes to this one. And the last part of it, the road stretches along the coast to come to this one. I see our first major trade route might appear. Oh, actually, it would also probably come up from back here and up here and here. Probably wouldn't reach over here yet because there's not too much that they can actually get from there. But yeah. And about this trade route is, well, I can imagine a lot of economy and products will be made, which will heavily benefit this part because they no longer have to sail or do merchant work with random merchants to get products from over here and vice versa. Yeah. We'll be going over here actually for our first lot of expansion for the day. As we see, explorers in down south from this green team. See some go in this direction towards China and such. Some goes into some more northern parts of Kazakhstan, linking up to this lake. And yeah, that's all they do. They don't expand much on themselves. Yeah. We also see a combined effort from both the Bengali team and India to just map out all of this part, which they will sort of split along lines where they got to exploring. The Bengalis will grab a big nice chunk of land here. The Indians grab another big chunk here. And here we're going to come to our Filipino team, where we will see the Malaysian Peninsula actually declare independence from the finger due to what they believe to be unequal treatment, as they tend to focus more on the capital and not much trade or growth comes down to the Malaysian part. And the Philippines thing, well, it's very much true. They don't really care for the southern parts. Probably a big mistake in the long run, but they don't really care about it. So they just let it go. They have bigger goals, expanding around here, seeing what's about, creating an empire of their own. They will do some mass expansion into this part. Also, what we will see happening too, we'll have our first alliance being made actually. What we see happening is first alliance, the square alliance will be made. Yep, square alliance will be made between against these two blue teams. This will be our first ever alliance seen. Yeah. So I'll get rid of that then. Yeah, we see our first alliance being formed, because, well, what they're actually going to do is they're going to go to war. These two countries feel like they've been cheated out of the Arabian deal, even though they got a fair bit, but it wasn't valuable land. So they are going to storm into a Greenland. We see the light blue team storming up the Arabian coast. Dark blues will be found doing a rather similar tactic on this side, taking over the Kuwait area. The sort of coming to front lines like this. Anatolians, which already don't really like, the green team will take advantage of this, making a landing and taking over Cyprus. Also heading down towards the capital. Also just taking quite a bit of land up in the northern part of it. We also, well, the red team, though having decent relations with it, will jump on the bandwagon, see a free land grab, taking all of the peninsula, and also threatening the capital of the green team. The green team will fall into complete collapse, more or less. And we'll also see is a new team will break out in the middle of it, and these sort of regions that will fight for their independence. As they sort of want to come in, they start to link up together around these areas. And then now there were friendly teams with the other teams. Jesus Christ, I need to learn how to speak before I record. They're both just yeah. The green team is facing complete collapse and will be forced to sit down at the table and, well, make peace with their enemies. And this is what the peace treaty will be. But the map, it won't stay like this for long, because what we actually see is the king or monarch of the red team actually dies, suffering a heart attack shortly after the victory, and he didn't have any children, or didn't have any cousins or nephews, nieces, anyone else to take over from him. So they kept going back in the history books, and what they find is a closely living relative of the Red Nation's leader is the monarch of the Blue Team. So what we see happening is a union between the Red Team and the Blue Team to give us, let's get good colour, to give us this mighty empire, spreading from all the way to nearly the end of the Mediterranean to the tip of the Arabic nations, giving also the tip of the thingy. So what we also need to do is move this capital, because the capital will not be made there, will be kept down here at the tip of Arabia. So now there'll be a new capital to be constructed. That is neither theirs nor their the new capital will be placed right on the tip, just about here actually, yeah. Which is quite far from there. But it's fine because the new leader, monarch, whatever the word is, they'll actually demand and get it changed so that the new trade route will just not go past there, actually go through the newer capital. It will go through the capital down here to give us this beast of a nation in the new world. And all in all, to say that the Red Team, which was quite patriotic, was technically overran and taken over by the Blue country in this union, which was highly Arabian dominated. They're all quite happy on that, all being said. It's really good. Yeah. We will be going back to another war though immediately after that. There's down here, there's been some tensions between the borders and all, so it's gonna sort of turn into a three-way war between different teams, eh? We'll start with the Red Team actually, making a rather large advances into this sort of coast here, as they will also immediately run and overrun the yellow capital. Yeah. On the southern part of the front, the orange team will be dealing much better than up north as they start and take over almost all this area. And on this front, for now, the borders will sort of just stall at that. But up in the yellow team, it's more or less a slaughter, as there wasn't really expecting such an advancement or invasion, as front lines take up between orange and red troops in yellow territory. which will lead us to just the yellow team leaving, coming up here. Actually abandon a lot of the southern parts. They just move up, try get away, we'll go around here. Let's get back to where their original goal was. Get back to their home nation, and that's quite what they do. Go around it. Route here, which they will be they will greet their old saviors with open arms, and they will actually unify with their former which one is it? Will unify these as peace troops will now go down and set up front here, in which they will use it to push back enemies quite quickly as they're much superior in technology. Regetting their old capital, which I need to remove. Actually pushing them all the way back here. Before entering red territory first. Bit wrong colour. Also going in to some of the Irish team quickly taking their capital, pushing up here. Actually surprising a lot of the world because they didn't think it was actually that strong, but showing this, they now really second guessed. Oh, guessed wrong about the let me change colour. They really thought wrong about the Peach Nation. They saw them to be quite pacifist and in a war, probably first one to go. But by proving here, they're quite strong and quite organised to get their troops from about halfway down Africa quite quickly, actually. At this point, when both of their capitals have been seized, taken over by Peach forces, they'll come to a negotiation table and draft up some sort of peace deal in which we'll see this happening. This will happen. As you can tell, not very good for neither orange or red team. They have both just lost their capitals, which they will have to move, which the red will move this here. The orange will put it in between these two lakes, as they have to now and no capital for them. This one go boop. Yeah, this really does prove that the Peach team much stronger than everyone else thought they were, which proves they're not a force to be messed with. With that victory, boosting nationalistic tendencies will prove wanting to link up their nations better. They will ultimately just go in and just explore probably all of this land, a bit more here. So we've got people. They will explore all this land and promptly lay claim to it. Yep. We'll claim to all of the Nile region. Expanding all the way up to here. Probably won't all be occupied or anything, but it's their claims, and what is someone else going to do about it? Invade them? I mean, that would just consolidate their claims even more. But they're becoming quite a big, oh, they are a huge nation, and this is where we sort of see bigger empires coming about. I think we've focused a lot in this region. We've not showed enough love to Western Europe, which we'll come and have a quick visit to before ending the video. And whilst all that war is happening in Arabia, we've seen a lot of expansion coming up to the Brittany, coming to the Alps a bit more. More of the inner Balkans have also been explored. Ukraine over here, they've gone completely around the Caspian, making a second way to getting to the new people over there. They also explored much more northern here. What the Ukrainians see happening is a little group. It's sort of like just a group seeking more wealth, a better lifestyle. They're gonna migrate, explore up this part, come to the Baltic states. Let's leave Ukraine behind, and here we will have formed the what's it called? No. They'll have formed is the Thanos Purple Color team in the Baltics, which we'll be calling Lithuania. Yeah. Lithuania will be formed, and that will end. No, it's not. We need a bit more expansion up here, don't we? Yeah. So Spanish, they will actually expand all the way up here. Italians link up all their land. The Greeks. The Greeks will also expand. But what we see happening is also a bit of, there's been a rise of nationalism in the Greek team, and they just basically say they want their old land back, so that would include some of Crimea, parts of Anatolia. They just want it all back for themselves, because they're being greedy Greeks. Yeah, little nickname for them there. The Ukrainians, they'll expand some in this direction too. Also set up a section of land around here, so the potential in the future they could get to there and do a bit more trading with them to bring them to the further forward into civilization, and that could rebound on them to have more wealth in trade and such. But we'll just have to see what happens in the next episode. So thanks everyone for watching. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed, of course. Goodbye.